What's up, Seed of Seattle? Rob Bramblett back here. Super excited today, man. I've got this killer interview lined up today with legendary guitarist of Queensryche, Michael Wilton.
How you doing?
What's up, Mike? How you doing, man?
It's good to be here.
Good to have you here, bud. We've known Mike here for a little over a year now. I've been following him. He's done some tremendous stuff, obviously, in his career, being the guitarist of Queensryche. He's also... you have also started a band a few years back, Soulbender, and his most current project, Ratchet Head. New CD out and available on his website from ratpackrecords.com. In college, when you were in college, you met up with a couple of the Queensryche boys.
Yes, I did go to college. It was 1.5 years, but it was, you can say I did go to college.
Any cool college stories?
Well,
I
went to the Cornish Institute of Allied Arts, which is in Seattle, and that's kind of where I learned a lot of my music theory, and kind of forged the younger years to get into music. So anyway.
But you met up with a couple of the Queensryche fellas there. Now, I don't want to get into all the Queensryche stuff. Everybody knows you're from Queensryche and the legendary band.
Right.
But let me ask you this. When you met up with the guys in Queensryche, did you have any idea or perception of the success you would achieve with
those days? I mean, those are the 19, 20, 21, 22 years of a young guy's life, and they're very turbulent, unpredictable. You don't have quite the wisdom as we think we have now. A lot of it had to do with hard work, but a lot of it was timing. At that time
sure.
in 1981, 82, in that era.
Did you have fluffy feather hair, fishnets on?
No. I had a day job actually. We were the type of band that, because the scene in Seattle then was kind of playing top 40 and other cover music, so we decided let's get day jobs so that we had income, obviously, to live.
Which was smart.
And then at night we would go into the studio and create. And back then we had a studio called Triad Studios, and that's basically we worked during the day and recorded graveyard hours at Triad Studios, and eventually we came up with 4 or 5 songs, which eventually became the Queensryche EP.
Wow, like 4 or 5 EP, like cassette tape you guys did on a 4-track recording?
I don't even know if 4-track recording was, I think you maybe, a little Tascam 4-track recorder was,
right.
But yeah, that's kind of how, push the button and
right.
Everybody has to play at the same time. But those were the demos, and those are the ways that we've managed to forge our way into a real studio, which was an eye-opening event, and obviously we learned a lot. But again, back to your question, we didn't know what was going to happen. We were just enjoying the moment, trying to make something good, something quality that represented us.
Because you were in the Mob pre-Queensryche, is that correct? A band called the Mob?
There was a bunch of garage bands with different people,
right.
And and that happens. That, like I said, in the the process of discovering, as trying to be a musician, but then trying to get along with a group of guys.
Right.
That's the whole thing, and it was, you learn from that. It's like it was the Mob, and there was Joker, there was Crossfire, there was a bunch of crazy band names.
Was the feeling different? I mean, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is you were in all these different bands, and going through the process of natural musical evolution, and then Queensryche, you meet those guys. Was the feeling different? What was it? Did you just know something was different about this band compared to the previous bands?
Oh yeah, I mean once the whole lineup was together, and we got Jeff Tate to come in and sing on the demos, and then all of a sudden, we kind of felt we had something there, and then it was just a matter of the next process of finding management, finding representation,
right.
Finding a way to promote it, which it was a big learning experience and a lot to absorb for a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Right.
Back in the early days when there were record stores and bands used to do in-stores, and
right.
where you'd go to the in-store and then there'd be long lines of fans, and and they'd come and you'd sign autographs. That doesn't really happen anymore these days, but it was kind of fun. And you get some strange characters, but anyway, this one guy came in kind of a hooded black, death kind of a thing up to the line. And we had a couple security guys there, and they were kind of given that, what's this guy all about?
Red flag.
Well, anyway, he reached inside his jacket like this, and the security guys were getting ready to grab him. And he pulled out his pet ferret. And he goes, would you guys please autograph my pet ferret?
Wow. Was it shaved or was it?
it had a studded collar. When you visualize things, maybe on a few whip ales, I just thought of being in the garage and seeing all the tools and the ratchets and everything,
right.
And it just popped in my mind, Ratchet Head. A bunch of local guys, Rainstone on vocals, Jesse Paul on guitar, Steve Jackson on bass, and Adam Clark on drums. And it's when I put together a project, it's kind of coming from my experience and my learning to a bunch of guys that may have not had that experience yet in being in a band, and writing and learning. But these guys, they're all local. They're really coming together. I think they've really stepped up to the task and really woodshedded and really concentrated on playing ability. And I think it's fun for me, but it's also gratifying that I get some tasty musicians that can actually play. So this is just a project. We just did a show with Hell Yeah and Hail the Villain for KISW Lebowski.
That's right.
And that was our first show. And we were a little jittery because we haven't played live yet, and it actually went over really well.
It did. We were there, actually. We tried catching up with you guys backstage, but obviously with Vinnie Paul, in the band, and the triumphs and tribulations Pantera's been through. It was pretty tight. So we
security
couldn't
was
get back,
really tight, actually.
We couldn't quite get back that far, but we did catch you guys, and it sounded really good. You sounded really thick. It sounded really crunchy.
Good.
It sounded really different from anything I've ever heard you do before, and I liked it, man. It was ballsy.
Good.
It was very cool. And Rain, we caught up with Rain last month, and had interviewed him, and he spoke very highly. We were very, in high anticipation to check out that show, but it was really cool being there and seeing your first live show with Ratchet Head, and then especially with Hell Yeah. I mean, what a great first show to start. What are your future plans with Ratchet Head?
Well, this is just the single that we have right now, and so we basically got 11 songs that just need to be finished recording. So we're just kind of doing it, weaving through everybody's jobs and my day job, which is Queensryche. But
where do you apply?
But this is something that's it's very diverse and very different from that, and that's what makes it fun. And basically, that's what this is. It's about having fun and creating some really cool music. Subsequently, in my past project, Soulbender, we kind of did the same thing, but the musicians were branched out a little. I had, a couple guys from Vancouver, Canada, and so getting that together was a little tough. We managed to pull off some shows, we did one in Everett here, down the street, I remember, and got the disc out, and it's the Soulbender CD is still selling today. It's you can get it on cdbaby.com. We tried to bring it back with some other players. We had Van from Nevermore, and but it just wasn't the same, and just kind of laid it to rest.
So you've got the Queensryche new Roadrunner deal you're working on. You've got the Ratchet Head deal you're working on. This guy is unbelievable. He's all over stuff. He's spread out there. He's also got his own beer line, Whip Ale beer. That's actually how we met. Went down and sampled his Whip Ale beer, which Diamond Knot Brewery brews for him out in Mokilteo. Really good friends of ours too, by the way. Enjoy Diamond Knot. Little plug for Diamond Knot boys. How's the beer stuff? How's the beer line going?
Oh, the beer is flowing, as they say. We're just just working the channels, getting the distribution, and it's a steady seller right now. In the small places that it is, and everybody loves it. It's a tasty beverage.
It is.
In a sense, that is very time intensive. There's a lot that goes on when you're in a controlled alcohol state like Washington is. So it's kind of been a lot of homework for me to learn the laws.
Right.
With beer.
I remember talking to you a while back when you'd come in over to the Madison pub, and you were a little down on one of the old brewers not producing the amount you wanted, and then we went over to Diamond Knot, got you set up with those guys, and they've been taking good care of you from what I understand. I know you still want to push it out there and get more flowing into the people's lives. Yes. But so how's that process going? Is everything? I know it's hard in Washington, but are you still looking at other avenues to get your beer out there for people to try? Yeah,
the whole channels of distribution are a bit tricky, and you just have to do it within the guidelines of the Washington state laws. Consequently, there's lots of licensing that you have to get, lots of permits, lots of master business application license that you have to get. And for me, as I am stretched thin, it takes time, and I want to do it right.
Right. From what I understand, you actually you actually came up with the recipe for the beer too. Is that true? Or
I did.
you like take bits and pieces of other brews, or?
Well, I knew what I liked, and I liked an IPA or a pale ale. And on the road, we had gotten 6 packs of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. I always thought that was good tasting.
Right.
So that's kind of where my starting point was, and it was just researching online. What hops.
Did you do like a little homebrew thing? Did you set
up?
No.
It was availability. I wanted to use Northwest hops and grains, and experimented with the different yeasts, and then
nice.
Just kind of lucked out. Basically, it was a lazy boy. He had kind of a small brewery, and we got it, and then he got the recipe right. He knew how to make it, and then it just kind of blew up. It took off, and fortunately he couldn't keep up with it. It was kind of, as they say, the kiss of death.
Right.
That's when you came in, and we found Diamond Knot Brewery.
Right. Matt and Pat and the boys over at Diamond Knot. I love those guys. They love doing the beer thing, man. They do. They love music.
They're
and they love beer.
a big brewery. They have lots of brewing capacity, and so that was definitely a good hookup. I thank you very much for that.
My pleasure, my friend. And so from all your bands to your beer, you also are endorsed by numerous companies. One of them being ESP Guitars.
ESP Guitars. I have been with ESP Guitars for almost 20 years. A really great company. When they first started, they were in New York, and then they moved to Los Angeles. The mother company's in Japan, and just a good company to be with. They make fine quality guitars.
Now, which model is this? Is this your newest model right here?
This is my newest signature model through ESP. It's the MW Demon. Rightly so. It's got a lovely.
And this one here, it looks like. Now, is this what people get if they were? Where do they find these at?
They won't get this because I've upgraded
this.
This is the it's like a car. You always got to kind of beef it up and make it more yours. So I've got the upgrades on this, but essentially you get everything here. Minus the titanium inserts here. It's
very cool. I was just noticing that.
You got a sustainer here, and then a boost right here. Push-pull, pots, really nice pots, and the electronics, the heavy-duty good ones. So, but I mean, that's anything any guitar player could do. Just make the guitar sound and play better.
Now, what are these little? What are those little wax dots right there?
The wax dots are glow dots. when you're on a dark stage, they are the best thing in the world.
Right.
Because
find yourself.
When Lightman accidentally goes black in the middle of a song, it's like you don't want to come up on the wrong fret, which I've done many a times, and it sounds horrible.
So where can people get these at? Now, I know that you've got so many different lines of stuff, but if they wanted to buy like an autographed guitar or something.
The custom one, they got to order from espguitars.com. But the one that's in all the music stores, they're just at your music store and they just have to order it. Order a few. I know they're all around the country right now, so.
And they can check these out at esp.com.
Oh yeah, espguitars.com.
ESP.
Yeah, Crank Amplifiers. Great company down in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been working with them on the new amplifier line called the 1980, which is a really good sounding amp, and working with them on some pedals and something you don't know is I'm probably going to be distributing their equipment as well. So I have through all these licenses I've learned through the beer and everything, I can resell equipment and kind of be like a mini Guitar Center kind of a thing. So check out online, get you a sweet deal on some crank gear.
There you go. And is that on your personal webpage, or where do they find you?
I think we're going to build the page through Rat Pack Records and kind of integrate it all. It's an indie record label.
Okay.
And You know, no dough up front. It's all just hard work and promotion, which I think is generally the trend these days. And the guy that owns it, Joe O'Brien, is just a hard-working guy and loves what he does. And you know, it was good to connect with him, and it's good to do business with him.
No, on Rat Pack Records, they do your ratchet head stuff. Do they do your whipware too?
He does.
He does the whipware?
He does as well, yeah. Whipware is a clothing line.
That's another thing he's got going.
A private, small clothing line that we you can check out on that website. It's some good stuff. But yeah, he does a lot of great things. He doesn't just do me. He's got lots of bands. He's got a great live talk show called The Big Rock Show, where they interview tons of artists. But he's a great guy, to network and to bring into the forefront. He's on the East Coast, and so it's kind of giving him some metal dosage.
When you were a kid, did you know you were going to be a musician? Well, what feeling overcame you? Was it some kind of light shined on you, or can you kind of take me through the brief run of your first memory of touching your first guitar?
Well, actually, the first thing I touched was a bass, a bass guitar. It was my uncle's. I lived back in California, in Oakland. He died tragically in a motorcycle accident, and I was the next boy in line, so I got his equipment. So I kind of inherited it, and not saying that it's a homage, but it's something that sparked a hobby, and stuck with it. And then I figured I could play guitar better than the guitar player in my garage band, so I switched.
And you're classically trained and jazz trained, correct? Is that the right?
Somewhat. I definitely got some good teaching and schooling at the Cornish Institute of Allied Arts in Seattle, and I met a lot of great jazz players that actually live in Seattle. Seattle's like a hub of amazing musicians,
yes,
all types, not just rock and pop. It's some amazing people live here because it's such a great city. So
with all this stuff going on, now I'm going to bring you something else, Mr. Wilton. So you got your beer. You got to wake up and have a morning beverage too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely a coffee addict.
Let's get a little coffee line going for you. The Legends of Rock Coffee, man. Get you on board with Glenn and Black Dot and set up the Legends of Rock Coffee. You can start having your own. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but we come up with something clever, man. The whip coffee, or Ratchet Queen Brew.
Yeah, let's talk about it and drink some coffee as well.
All right, and then we'll start getting into some.
Maybe
beer.
You can drink a coffee and then drink a beer and then drink another coffee.
That can be the blind taste of it.
I'd like to say for any of the people that go down to the NAMM convention in Anaheim, California, I'll be down there again, representing ESP and Crank and D. Markley Strings.
Maybe we can go with you this year, man. Go down.
It's a fun time.
Get some of that.
We'll definitely get some wounds down there.
You take your
come back wounded very, very, very many times.
What do you usually do down at the NAMM show? I know you it's like a trade show where you're showing your stuff.
It's the National Association of Musical Merchants, and it's at the Anaheim big monstrosity, and it's just thousands of companies with displays. And it's kind of like a Disneyland for musicians, just checking out all the different types of new innovations and new technology and new everything in the music industry. And as well, it's a big party.
I can only imagine. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to get down there this year and cover some. It's
like a high school reunion for all these companies. They just come in there, and when they're done showing all their equipment during the day, at nighttime it just becomes crazy.
Well, Mike, man, we're gonna follow you around. We're gonna keep plugging your Ratchet Head stuff, and hopefully get to check out your new Queensryche tour in 2011 when you guys start doing. Are you going to kick the tour off here in Seattle, or is it going to be somewhere else? Any clues yet? Any ideas?
I have no idea.
Well,
No
we're
clues.
gonna
He's
keep
not
up
telling
with
you
you.
anything.
Love this guy, man. Hardworking guy, constantly out there doing stuff in the scene, in the circuit, from his mini bands, mini projects he's been in, to his business side with his beer, his coffee, his shirts, his endorsements. Definitely somebody to keep an eye on and learn from. All you young musicians, follow his footsteps. Very smart, very cool, and works very hard. That's why he's where he's at. Mike, it was a pleasure having you here, buddy.
Right on.
We'll see you again soon. And good luck with all your upcoming ventures. And we'll catch you at some of your shows.
Thank you, Seed of Seattle. Metal.